Noxus is where the strong gather.
I'm Sebastien Najand. I worked on the bite mark cinematic and the LeBlanc champ theme.
My name is JD Spears. I worked on the music for our new Arena game mode.
I'm Bill. I not only write music, but I also oversee the process of taking the music that's written and putting it into our game to you, the players.
The opportunity that Welcome to Noxus gave us as composers was to each kind of have our own little corner of this larger event. Individually, the music is different from one another at times, but because it's all being recorded by the same ensemble, the ensemble is sort of what glues it together into this Welcome to Noxus aesthetic that we've made.
With our past Noxus executions, we've done a lot of empire music, right? Like with Swain, Darius, and we thought about the cross-pollination of culture because we got to see Mel traveling from Piltover into Noxus, and we can kind of see that like people in Noxus aren't just this one thing.
Getting away from what we've always associated with Noxus, very rigid, sort of militaristic vibes, and bringing in something a little more unrefined.
Being able to expand that sound, not only to increase the depth of what we're doing, but also just giving something new to players.
Are you strong enough?
Back in March of last year, we started kind of talking about the season cinematic, bite marks, and a lot of the music material came from the Arcane Season 2 soundtrack.
You say you're not afraid.
We had a conversation with the creative director, Matt Costa, and we started coming up with an idea of what the musical experience would be for the cinematic. Once that was figured out, and Fortiche was already working on really amazing visuals, the performance was the next big step, and Teya really captured the full range of what we were looking for. Starting off the song a little bit more seductive, a little bit more playful, but also having the really extreme aggression in the choruses.
The instrumental of the bite marks piece, it was actually the first Noxus piece that we made for this entire Welcome to Noxus campaign. When we heard this melody right here, I believe that this was the piece that anchored everything. And I wrote this piece, which was going to be used for the spawn-in moment for the season, just as a proof of concept of like how it would sound orchestrally, and we got this. So that's his melody right there. There is the Summoner's Rift theme that everyone is familiar with being weaved in and out of this experience throughout the entire time. So it's not the exact note-by-note replication of what you have come to know, but it has the shape of the same melody, re-skinned and restructured in a way that makes it make sense for Noxus.
Do not test me.
It's a 14-piece ensemble. It had some of the most unusual instruments that I have not used before in my career. Big drums, as a lot of people associate with Noxus, of course. We also have a group of instruments called the sack butts.
It's like a precursor to the trombone. We also have a Bulgarian choir.
That's right. It's an ethnic Bulgarian choir. I mean, like, how would you describe the sound?
It's very unique. I mean, it's hard to describe it. It's also the way they pronounce lyrics a little bit different and added to that quality that we were looking for.
We use a Baroque violin instead of normal violin, so it's strings still made of animal gut strings.
When you're using that type of thing, even when it's playing a delicate passage, there's like a violence to it. They don't stay in tune perfectly. It gives it a sort of edge that maybe you don't always want, but for something like this, it's perfect.
Black Rose is really in the shadows. You know, it's very eerie and it sounds like an ancient cultist type of vibe. We worked with narrative, Laurie Golding, to come up with really interesting lyrics that would really fit with LeBlanc. So I'm really excited to see what players will think and if they'll be able to piece together all the different words that we chose.
And look at them now, ready to die for an illusion.
Sahn-Uzal, which was the name before Mordekaiser became Mordekaiser, he was this war general who get known for his one-on-one combat with people. And we were like, what an interesting story, and how could we build this timeline where this one-on-one fighting combat from like the yurt-dwelling days of Noxus developed into what we have today. Tuvan throat singing is a very unique brand of throat singing, and this was something that I personally was very interested in. This can help us represent the people on the streets of Noxus rather than in the empire. We're looking around Sahn-Uzal. How did people perceive him? He probably has a couple of goonies following him around, chanting his name while he's fighting someone else. Somebody's singing about his legend, and that's where we kind of came up with the title. His name is Sahn-Uzal.
Go and set a feast in the Hall of Bones. Ready them to hail me.
It spawns from a guy who just really loves to one-on-one people to settle arguments, and then it becomes a whole culture that people watch for entertainment. So there's an obvious link there of Sahn-Uzal and the arena fighting culture that we want to portray, and it's the fantasy that we want to give to players.
Arena is a game mode that originally launched with our Soul Fighter campaign. We've updated it at least once with new music, and with this it's basically we're looking at it as a sort of a cosmetic reskin of the music system that fits our Welcome to Noxus narrative a little better. I utilized the same instruments that both Bill and Sebastian used on all of their little corners that they were working on for Welcome to Noxus. We all shared a recording session, so even though my music is quite different than either of theirs, it still feels pretty connected given that we're sort of using the same palette. So the star of the show for my arena stuff is actually our percussion. I wrote a bunch of different patterns for them, and they just sort of jammed on those patterns, and we ended up with a bunch of cool patterns like this. I'm turning a little. We got 3 fantastic percussionists together here in LA in a room. We had like a big percussion layer, we had like a medium-sized percussion layer, and then like a high percussion layer. Almost at all times there's 3 passes playing simultaneously. So really it's like kind of like having 9 players. Normally with these recording sessions, you would have written material and you would have the musicians play written material and you get the best takes and all of that. With these percussion sessions, I just wrote a bunch of grooves and had them, play what was on the page and then just keep going. Part of the concept for this arena music for Welcome to Noxus was that this is sort of a social event for the citizens. It's obviously very brutal and very violent, but it is a source of entertainment. That kind of manifests in the real world, obviously in the form of sporting events or game shows or things like that. So we kind of wanted the music to have that kind of vibe to it. It's these notes here. Bum, 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 bum. Almost feels like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something like that.
I feel the responsibility of, carrying the baton from Arcane and the Arcane's music team. We want to get really good at storytelling through our games and through our music. If you get to experience the whole season throughout the 3-4 months of the effort of work that we put on that is cohesive, hopefully that helps paint the world of Noxus in ways that you've never thought of before.
I mean, with this whole new season of Noxus, I hope players get a whole new level of depth of what Noxus is, the types of melodies that we do that we haven't done before, really expanding the musical world that we had started a long time ago for Noxus. It needs to evolve, and hopefully we've made it evolve in a really unique way that players will really enjoy.